on journalism and new media schools stirred up controversy yesterday with a Facebook post.
Reactions from across the campus came quickly and most condemned the post.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole. I'm Avery Sadler.
And I'm Sarah Kate Callagwire.
Controversies are continuing to rise regarding Ole Miss alumnus Ed Meek's questionably racial Facebook post.
NewsWatch reporter Madison Scarpino has more.
Former Ole Miss Assistant Vice Chancellor, journalism professor, alumnus, and $5 million donor Ed Meek is receiving major backlash for a controversial Facebook post. Meek posted pictures of two African-American women on the square Saturday night. His post said there was no police presence around, and if this doesn't stop, enrollment and property values will fall. The post was shared hundreds of times within minutes. Most of the comments shut down Meek's opinion and called it racist. Ole Miss student Raven Francomano created a petition with thousands of signatures to remove Ed Meek's name from the School of Journalism.
I feel that it was not appropriate. It's not reflective of how we feel here at the University of Mississippi about our students of color, and I feel that while the post itself may have not had racial intent, as soon as he posted the unsolicited photographs of the two African American women, I think that's when it created that narrative.
Several posts supported Meek's comments. One of Meek's former students, Galen Smith, said he would never say anything to hurt anybody's feelings, especially anything racial. I agree that he was stating a true opinion on Facebook. It was not bias. I did not see it as a racial attack on anyone or a certain group of people. He was doing his job of reporting. Meek has since deleted the post and issued an apology that has also been removed. Madison Scarpino, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
NewsWatch reached out to Dr. Meek for comment and his phone went to voicemail. We were not able to leave a message due to his inbox being full.
One of the women pictured in Ed Meek's Facebook post, Mahogany Jordan, has taken it upon herself to respond. Today, she created a guest column in the Daily Mississippian. In this column, she shares her feelings about the post, stating, "I don't need your apology. In fact, I don't need anything from the reciprocal guilt you feel after being called out for what you are. The two things that automatically put me at a disadvantage in our society. You'll never completely understand." Jordan is a senior general studies major from Memphis. Dr. Meek represents the Meek School of Journalism as a whole, though after this post, many organizations have released statements as an attempt to set them apart from the opinions of the Ole Miss alumnus. NewsWatch reporter Annie Sharp spoke with officials to hear how the controversial post has affected them, as well as what steps they are taking in response. Annie?
Ed Meek's post received hundreds of interactions on Facebook, reaching more than just the students of the journalism school on campus. It left faculty and staff, as well as student organizations, with the responsibility to respond in order to avoid being associated with what Meek posted. I spoke with a few officials to hear what steps they are taking. This afternoon, Dean Norton addressed Meek's post in a video release, saying the school condemns any racial bias.
In every class we teach, we ask our faculty to make a statement that the School of Journalism and New Media is committed to diversity in the classroom. That holds true in our publications and in our various organizations and components. This includes helping our students to develop a sensitivity to language and images that may create an appearance of or contain actual bias.
Debbie Hall, IMC professor, knows that it is not possible to change the past, but the university can build upon it.
All in all, a safe product. The same thing with the University of Mississippi Creed. One of the very first lines is that we're committed to respect and dignity and diversity for all of our students. And so if we adhere to our creed and move forward that way, then only good can come out of whatever happens here. One way or the other, I believe it will be for the best.
Student organizations have also responded to Meek's statements, addressing the need for an open dialogue. ASB President Elam Miller said that the ASB still stands by their original message. Carl Tart, Black Student Union Vice President's Chief of Staff, acknowledged the hurt Meek has caused and hopes to use this incident as a way to express the Black Student Union's side of the story.
We are elated that we are finally getting a chance to express our concerns here at the university, but we are disappointed that they had to be through this situation.
Ole Miss Chancellor Jeff Vitter made a post condemning the remarks made by Meek. He is welcoming students to express their concerns tonight at 7:30 in the Nutt Auditorium.
Meek School faculty is hosting a forum at 6:30 p.m. for journalism and IMC students in Nutt Auditorium. Students are invited to voice their comments and concerns to help faculty form a response and set of solutions. The forum at 6:30 is only for journalism and IMC students. A community-wide forum will open at 7:30 p.m. in Nutt Auditorium. Avery, back to you at the desk.
Built in 1966, the Tad Smith Coliseum has a historical past with Ole Miss. But as the campus keeps changing, what will the future of the Tad Pad include? NewsWatch reporter Miranda Crosby takes us closer.
The Tad Smith Coliseum has been home of countless championships and nameless activities, but with its increasing age, there has been a proposed plan to integrate the Tad Smith Coliseum into a formal open lawn space. Larry Sparks tells us more about the master plan.
Tad Smith will, it's in our plans to eventually bring it down, but as I said, there's nothing that's compelling at this point that says we have to do it today. Plus, we continue to use it for events, plus for offices of the Ole Miss Athletic Foundation. So for the short term, it will remain with us.
Although this will not be happening soon, this plan would seize this space as a new grove that includes a small amphitheater and gathering area for outdoor events. However, junior Avery Rutherford thinks this space should be saved for more practical use.
I feel like it should go towards parking. This past year has been really bad. A lot of people have been getting parking tickets because there's just no parking, even at 8 in the morning, 9 o'clock. So I feel like Tad Pad should be tore down.
Here we are at the Tad Pad, and although it's soon to be demolished, it is still being used for events. But with the ever-changing campus, who knows what it will become? Miranda Crosby, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
The last game played in the Tad Pad was on January 3rd, 2016, where the Ole Miss women's basketball team defeated Vanderbilt 55-52.
Students have found a new way to cheat in the classroom. NewsWatch reporter Lauren Conley shows us how students do it.
Apple Watches have created a different and new way to cheat on tests in schools, particularly college campuses. Hannah Deal is a student at Ole Miss. She says it's easier than you think.
It's super easy to cheat off them because you just take pictures and you just look up and you could be checking the time and you could honestly just be looking at a picture.
Although students say that professors don't mind if they wear their Apple Watches, here at the Jackson Avenue Center, an updated policy has been put in place to ban the use of those watches. Catherine Holtman is an online testing coordinator at the Jackson Avenue Center. She explains how the center has taken precautions to stop cheating.
I created a new policy that no wrist jewelry is allowed in the testing lab. So it doesn't matter if you have a Timex watch on, they all go in the testing lab. So that's never been a problem for us.
Lauren Conley, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Cindy Hyde-Smith from Brookhaven, Mississippi, is the first female senator from Mississippi. She was appointed by Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant to fill the seat of former U.S. Senator Thad Cochran. Hyde-Smith visited Oxford this past weekend and talked about making Mississippi more economically friendly in hopes to prevent college students from leaving the state once they graduate. Hyde-Smith also wants to keep drug and alcohol abuse awareness a high priority issue. Hyde-Smith is running against State Senator Chris McDaniel and U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Mike Espy. The election will be held on November 6th.
The runoff results for the homecoming election will be announced tonight at the Lyceum. Chauncey Mullins and Mikhail Love are still in the running for Mr. Ole Miss, and Jessica Tran and Jesse Lockett are still competing for Miss Ole Miss. Love and Mullins are both public policy leadership majors, and Mullins received 36.12% of the vote, leading the contenders for Mr. Ole Miss, and Jessica Tran won 48.86% of the vote for Miss Ole Miss. Tran is a biochemistry major and president of Active Minds, and Lockett is a biology major and an orientation leader. The election results will be announced around 8 p.m.
Coming up, see how a royal duchess is savoring her time in the royal family.
And how it is helping out charity, up next. But first, Gavin Norton has your first look at the current conditions.
Coming up over the next week, these are our weather headlines. We're going to still see some of that high humidity that we've been realizing all week, and we're also going to see the temperatures drop just a little bit, and with that comes a high chance of thunderstorms, especially over the weekend. If we take a look over at the radar, we can see not too much going on in the Oxford area or really anywhere in Mississippi quite yet, but there is more to come, and you'll hear more of that on Stormwatch.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
A shooting in Maryland just north of Baltimore this morning left at least 3 people dead and several questions into what happened. Tragedy in suburban Maryland this morning as a shooter opened fire at a drugstore distribution center. A law enforcement official confirms that 3 people were shot and killed, 2 others wounded. The shooter, who sources say is a woman, used a single handgun to carry out the attack. Police say they were on the scene within 5 minutes.
No shots fired by any of the law enforcement officers responding to the scene. We do not believe that there's an additional threat anywhere to our Harford County community.
Officials are trying to piece together what drove the shooter to open fire. A source close to the investigation says the suspect was a disgruntled employee. The ATF and FBI are assisting in the investigation.
When something like this happens, you can't have enough police and you can't have them fast enough, and we are very fortunate here that everyone works so well together and responds so well together that we were on scene and able to get as much aid in as quickly as possible.
The shooting took place in Aberdeen, Maryland, about 30 miles northwest of Baltimore.
We really reach out to those families that are suffering right now, that have lost loved ones, and offer our services as we begin to get them reunified. Not only with loved ones lost, but with workers that have been displaced. So I certainly thank all our courageous men and women that have helped us this morning.
The sheriff is not releasing any details about the 6 victims or the shooter, saying that their families are still being notified.
Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley has set a deadline of 10 a.m. tomorrow for Christine Blasey Ford's legal team to respond to a request to speak to his committee. Ford says Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her when they were teenagers.
Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley setting an ultimatum for Judge Brett Kavanaugh's accuser, Professor Christine Blasey Ford, telling Democrats that Ford and her lawyers have until 10 a.m. tomorrow to let the committee know whether she will testify at a hearing Monday about her sexual assault allegations, claims Kavanaugh denies.
I'm not worried about anything other than just focusing for the next few days
on encouraging her to come.
Grassley rejecting Ford's call for an FBI investigation, but giving her the option of a public or private hearing and offering to send his staff to California to speak with her directly. Ford's attorneys responding in a statement to the media, writing, "The committee stated plan to move forward with a hearing that is only 2 witnesses is not a fair or good faith investigation. The rush to a hearing is unnecessary and contrary to the committee discovering the truth." Ford's lawyers also reiterating that Ford needs time to deal with ongoing threats.
She has been dealing with hate mail, harassment, death threats. So she's been spending her time trying to figure out how to put her life back together, how to protect herself and her family.
Sources telling CNN that if Professor Ford chooses not to testify, the hearing will likely be scrapped and a confirmation vote could occur next week.
Despite the allegations against Judge Kavanaugh, President Trump has come out supporting Kavanaugh, saying he's an outstanding man. Vice President Mike Pence has made a statement about the denuclearization of North Korea.
As we're all aware, just recently Kim Jong-un announced his commitment to allow nuclear inspections, subject to final negotiations, and offered to permanently dismantle a test site and a launch pad in the presence of international observers.
Korea's leaders Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in have been in talks to denuclearize the whole Korean peninsula. The summit regarding this denuclearization has gone on for the past 3 days, and the South is encouraging the U.S. to end the Korean War.
Chief of Staff for a local software company, Wendy Karina Martinez, was stabbed while jogging through a neighborhood in Washington, D.C. Martinez stumbled into a restaurant after being stabbed multiple times in the neck. She was transported to a nearby hospital where she later died. Police have arrested suspect Anthony Crawford, who was seen on video surveillance running away from the location of the attack. Crawford was taken into custody where he was charged with first-degree murder. It is assumed that this was a random attack. However, authorities are looking into other possibilities.
The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, is helping launch a new charity cookbook. She wrote the foreword for Together, Our Community Cookbook, and held a special book launch today at Kensington Palace. Her husband, Prince Harry, was there, along with her mother, Doria Ragland. Proceeds from sales of the cookbook will go to the Hub Community Kitchen, which supports residents displaced by the Grenfell Tower fire in 2017. The Duchess has been volunteering at the Community Kitchen since January. It's Markle's first solo project as a member of the royal family.
It's been unseasonably warm outside the past few days, but could a cold front be headed our way?
I sure hope so. Coming up, Gavin Norton will let us know if cooler temperatures are on the way and if some rain is in our forecast next on Stormwatch.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back. When you want to talk, I'm here.
Did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First I took them to feel better. Then I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Welcome to Storm Watch. I'm Gavin Norton. The current temperature outside is a sunny 92 degrees Fahrenheit, and there's no chance of rain in sight. If we want to take a look at a broader view, you can see there's no chance of rain anywhere except for over here in Texas, and I don't think that's going to affect us too much. However, there is some minor cloud cover, and that is going to affect us if we want to take a look at the local weather. The local weather says that we're going to be seeing 92 degrees in Oxford and lower temperatures all around. If we want to move ahead on to see what tomorrow is going to be like, it's only going to be just a little bit cooler. Taking a look at what we're going to see for tonight, we can see our forecast is set all the way down to 71 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, no chance of rain quite yet. That's not going to come until tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to see a high raise to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, but yet again, no chance of rain. If you want to take a look at what the forecast is, I will redact my statement on no chance of rain tomorrow. There is a 40% chance of rain tomorrow, and going on throughout the week, we see high chances of rain taking us to Wednesday. That's back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Gavin. The Ole Miss women's volleyball team has been on fire to start the season. But see what they have to do to continue their success against the Florida Gators.
And see how one Ole Miss player has had a dream come true when it comes to play for Matt Luke and the Rebels. Next.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Rebel fans, what's going on? Jason Price here for an awesome Thursday edition of Sports Watch. The Ole Miss volleyball team is headed down to the Swamp in Gainesville, Florida, as they will be taking on the 11th ranked Gators in their SEC opener tomorrow night. The Rebels currently have a record of 10-4 and will be counting on junior Emily Stroop to get hot as always. Stroop has been bringing down the hammer recently, ranking second in the nation in kills and third in the nation in points. The Gators are currently 9-3 and hold a comfortable 47-6 all-time lead over the Rebs. The team will be looking to slowly turn that series around when the game starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. If you have a Sunday ritual of grabbing the clubs and hitting the golf course, head to Vaught Hemingway Stadium instead for the Ole Miss version of Top Golf. With the 2018 being the year of the fan, Rebel fans are invited to the free event in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium where they can drive, chip, and probably shank golf balls onto Hollingsworth Field. All participants will receive a free t-shirt and golf tees, along with getting a shot at winning 2 tickets to the football game against Louisiana Monroe. If that wasn't enough, the winner of Sunday also gets thrown into a drawing for 2 2019 season tickets. To show what you got, just sign up at omyearofthefan.com. Through the first 3 games of the season, the Ole Miss defense has given up 130 points to opponents, which is a school record. But even with the defense looking how it does, freshman linebacker Jaquez Jones says he's grown immensely as a player under defensive coordinator Wesley McGriff. Jones started Game 2 against Southern Illinois and led the team in tackles against Alabama with 9. Jones says he chose Ole Miss because he felt that he could make an immediate impact, and he definitely has. Now we just need our entire defense to improve as fast as Jones, and we might be all right. And finally, CC Kaiser, a forward for the Rebels soccer team, is just 1 goal away from setting the school record for career goals. Kaiser is currently chilling at 44 career goals and is looking to grab at least 1 more tonight in the SEC home opener against number 19 Tennessee. If the Lady Rebels grab the dub tonight, it will be the first time the team has started league play 2-0 since 2000. But history isn't really on the Rebels' side, as Tennessee has won 7 of the last 8 against Ole Miss. Kaiser and the Rebels will be looking to prove themselves tonight when the game kicks off at 6 p.m. Well, that's all we got for sports, but make sure to follow us on Twitter at NewsWatch_UM for all of your favorite sports updates. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jason. Coming up, find out how one Florida man is getting around town.
And how his new ride could be a hybrid for land and water. Stay tuned, more NewsWatch up next.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
A Florida man is getting a lot of social media attention over a video of him riding quite an unusual vehicle. He calls it a jet ski scooter, and he built it. 23-year-old Trey Yarbrough is riding a 1989 Honda Elite scooter jet ski he says he built about 6 months ago for show out of state.
He couldn't believe this video of him riding around the streets of Jacksonville went viral. He says the scooter can only be driven on land. If you are in the market for one of these, you may have to wait. Yarbrough hasn't announced any plans to custom make his creation for interested buyers. Well, that's pretty interesting, but I don't think you're going to be able to ride one of those tomorrow because we are going to see some rain.
I guess not.
Can you remind us what we're going to see the rest of the week and a little bit more about tomorrow?
Sure, yeah, tomorrow is going to be a 20% chance of rain more than today, and we're going to see thunderstorms scattered throughout the week going into Wednesday. So I would stay off the roads in any vehicles.
Thanks, Gavin.
That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Avery Sadler.
Be sure to join us here again tomorrow night at 5 and on NewsWatchOleMiss.com. I'm Sarah Kate Calaguire. Thank you and good night.